This incident I heard from my mother. My grandmother's house was in a village called Goldaba, under Nabiganj Thana of Habiganj district. Back in the 1980s, my grandmother's house stood at the very end of the village. Now, of course, the village is much bigger. The house was shaped somewhat like an I, for brick houses on one side, in front of an open yard, and parallel to it a sitting room called the Bangalore. Behind the house there was a pond, a bamboo grove, and then vast open fields. Amin, the son of my mother's cousin, was about 3 years old then, fair-skinned, very beautiful, and very playful. It's worth mentioning that the back of my grandmother's house was a rather scary place. Being at the edge of the village, it was always silent during the day. Many people had terrifying experiences there. But let me return to the incident of Amin. That day, from noon, Amin could not be found. People searched everywhere, and in the afternoon, he was found under the bamboo grove. He was brought back to the house. When he regained consciousness, he only said he went to the pond area to play. After that, he remembered nothing. The real problem began in the evening. He started having seizures. His body twisted on the bed in strange ways. Soon the whole household gathered in the room. Some suggested calling a religious scholar, Hujur, while my uncle went to find a doctor. But at that time, doctors were hard to reach. Meanwhile, one of my cousins, who knew about such matters, began reciting Surah Yasin from the Quran and blowing on Amin. But before he could finish, Amin suddenly got up and ran. Several people tried to stop him, but couldn't. It was unbelievable how a little boy could run with such force. The search began again, with lanterns and hurricane lamps. By that time, the Hujur had arrived. They found Amin again under the same bamboo grove. The Hujur recited prayers, gave water over which he had recited verses, and then called Amin's father outside. What he said left everyone devastated. He confessed, "This is beyond my ability. You must find another Hujur." Without saying more, he left. Later, when the doctor finally arrived, he too could not explain anything. He advised taking the boy to Sylhet Medical College. The whole household was silent. Only the cries and strange voices of little Amin filled the air. It took several men to hold him down on the bed. The women kept reciting from the Quran. At the call for the Far prayer, early morning, Amin suddenly became still and fainted. That day, he was taken to Sylhet Medical College, but doctors found no illness. By evening, the same violent episode started again. The doctors were stunned. It did not resemble any disease they knew. Even strong sleeping medicines did not work. This continued for 3 days, until finally the doctors admitted defeat. They advised the family to take him to a renowned spiritual leader, Pir. So they went to a famous Pir in Sylhet at that time. He summoned the spirits of the night, Jinn, and revealed that 7 Jinn had possessed Amin. All 7 were brothers, each one disabled in some way. One without a hand, another without a leg, one blind, another deaf, and so on. They lived together near that pond and bamboo grove. Because of their condition, they were extremely angry and stubborn. The Pir admitted even he could not drive them away, but suggested they try a tantric, a cult healer. The tantric lived a day's journey away. Amin's father and my uncle went to bring him. At first, he refused, but after much pleading and offering a large sum of money, he agreed. The tantric came with his wife and an assistant. He said Amin must be exorcised for 3 consecutive days at noon. If successful, the boy would recover. Otherwise, he could not guarantee anything. The next day, preparations began before noon. The family was gathered into one house, its windows sealed with dust to block visibility. The rest stood outside in the veranda, including my mother, grandmother, and uncles. In the middle of the courtyard, a circle was drawn. Inside sat Amin and his father. The tantric began chanting mantras while shaking a ritual object over Amin. His assistant beat a drum, and his wife hummed a continuous tune. They warned that under no circumstances should the drumming or humming stop. As soon as the ritual began, a storm-like wind rose behind the house. The sound resembled thunderclaps, shaking the entire house. That was the first day. The second day passed similarly, but that night, the tantric had a dream. He saw 7 black figures warning him not to continue the ritual, claiming he could not succeed. In the morning, he wanted to leave, refusing even the money. Yet, seeing the desperate pleas of Amin's mother, he reluctantly stayed, as the boy had already shown improvement, starting to walk and eat again. On the third day, again the house was sealed, the circle drawn, and the ritual began. Soon, strong winds and thunder shook the house. But what happened inside? The family on the veranda could not see. Suddenly, they all saw the entire bamboo grove split into 2 and bend down to the ground, as if forced by some immense power. In shock, the drumming and humming faltered. Still, the tantric chanted loudly. Then, before everyone's eyes, an invisible force lifted Amin into the air and violently slammed him to the ground, folding his body unnaturally. Everyone thought he had died, but he survived, though never the same again. Amin lived another 27 years. I myself have seen him, a small, frail body with a disproportionately large head. He never walked again. No doctor in Dhaka, no Hujur, no healer could explain or cure him. For those 27 years, strange things continued at the house. Almost every night, a tall black shadow would be seen. In the courtyard, the veranda, the corners of dark rooms. People stopped visiting. Anyone who stayed overnight would fall ill, have nightmares, or suffer fevers. The house felt cursed. Amin finally passed away around 2004. After his death, the shadowy figure was never seen again. Life returned to normal in that house, but the memory of those terrifying days still haunts the family. This is the end of Amin's story, but there is one more small incident connected to him. Once, Amin's father heard of an old Hujur in Habiganj, known to solve supernatural problems. He and my uncle went there by motorbike. The man was bedridden, unable to move. After hearing everything, he said he could not travel. Instead, he gave them an amulet, instructing that it be soaked in water for Amin to drink and bathe with for 7 days, and then to throw it into a river. He also advised cutting down the bamboo grove. Before they left, he gave another protective amulet, warning them to keep it in their mouths while riding back. But as they neared home, the motorbike suddenly jolted violently, as if hitting a speed breaker, though there was none on that road. The jolt caused the amulet to fall from my uncle's mouth. They searched but never found it again. My uncle swears to this day that there was no speed breaker on that road. So what caused the bike to jolt? He never found the answer. And that was the incident.